Fashionably late, like always. Yeah, sorry. How's everybody doing today? Good morning. Give me a second. Let me just clean this up. Oh shit! Whoa! Alright, there we go. Sorry. My bad. Okay, so how's everybody doing? Good morning. Today's Friday. Finally, Friday. Woo! I mean, it's the same day for me every day, but anyway. Oh my biggest fan. Let's see. Today we're gonna talk about manifestation and all the nonsense that we buy in order to feel better, in order to make excuses for ourselves in a way. I mean, not make excuses, but to give us I guess to give us that sense of how can I say it? The sense of I'm doing something right for myself, right? But then we're still doing the same things too. So it's a little bit kind of counterproductive, right? So yesterday we were talking about the uncomfortable questions and why we end up doing or why we end up following the crowd or why we have the beliefs pretty much that we have, right? And today what we're going to talk about is how we're breaking free from everything that's keeping you small. Okay? And then if you guys have questions or whatever, by all means, go for it. But we're going to talk about something that nobody wants to admit pretty much, okay? We're going to talk about how most of us are living small, scared, and we're pretending that everything is fine. But I know it's not. I see right through you. What we're doing, we're just following the crowd. We're buying into the self-help bullshit. And I'm saying because I did too. I spent a lot of money on trying to feel better, on trying to find some juju or something that was going to make me feel better. And we're performing healing instead of actually doing the work, if you think about it. We're comfortable in being and we're uncomfortable, or we're comfortable in being uncomfortable. And today we're going to talk about why we do that and why we tend to fall in those habits. And if this is the first time that you're watching, my name's Rocio, and I'm not going to sell you courses, I'm not going to sell you crystals, I'm not going to sell you anything. I'm just giving you the truth as you scroll throughout your day. So let's get into it, okay? So what we're going to talk first is going to be the crowd problem, okay? Who taught you how to live? Who taught you your basic beliefs, like your basic morals? Was it your parents? Was it your teachers, society? Did you learn on your own? Was it influenced by watching TV? By playing video games too much? Or is it something that you wanted to do? That you did for yourself? Because if it is, then I don't know why you're watching. You got it all solved. Most of us are pretty much fighting, or most of us are pretty much following the crowd. And everybody's kind of like when you see everybody run towards one direction and you don't even know what the hell's going on, but you still run to that direction because you see other people running, so you're going to follow, right? What if something's coming? And that's kind of what we do with life. We kind of just follow the crowd. We don't really speak up. Even if we're uncomfortable, we're okay with that. And if you think about it, your parents had to do what they had to do, right? Your teachers taught what they had to teach. Society reinforced what keeps us going, which is, I mean, an influencer or the influences that you have, they're just showing you what gets people's engagement, right? Nobody's actually thinking for themselves. They're just following a trend. We're just copying each other. We're just hoping that someone knows who we are individually, even though we all look the same. We don't know where we're going, but everybody's heading this way. But in reality, nobody does that. Think about it. I mean, that's how it seems, and that's what we've accepted. But truthfully, we don't really do that. How many people go to college because they have to, or because that's the thing you do in my family? We all go to college. It's a rule in my family. How many people stay in jobs that they hate because, well, I mean, can't find a better income, something that pays similar? I did that for 10 years, almost 10 years. 9 years? 10 years. I don't know. How many people get married just because it's time? Because you're getting older and you don't want to be 40 and with a cat by yourself, because what are people going to think? Isn't that like the biggest thing that they told women? I mean, I think my grandma got married when she was like 14 or 16, not sure. But I mean, my mom already had my brother and I by the time she was 22. And if I look at her pictures, she looks like she was like 30. So for the longest time, my mom never aged in my eyes. Right? How many people have kids because that train is about to leave? And then you realize that it's not what you wanted. You're stuck in a situation that you created because you could have said no from the start. And now you don't know how to get out, right? Not because you want to, but that's what everybody's told you to do at a certain age. Or that's what everybody told you to have by a certain age, right? And this is actually, we're going to talk how this interacts, or how it intercepts, or how it intertwines with the spiritual community. Because even people who are trying to wake up and find themselves are just trying to follow a crowd. I see it constantly. I mean, everybody's burning sage. My wife does that oftenly. I do too. Everyone talks about manifestation, right? We all talk about manifestation, about shadow work. Everyone's posting about their shadow work. I mean, what am I doing right now? I don't go to retreats, but many people go to retreats. But is it actually changing your life? Like, are you actually doing, hello, Whitney? Is it actually like doing something for you? Because let me be clear. I did all the work too. I bought all the stuff too. And I'm not against using them as a replacement. And I'm not against the practices because, like I said, my wife and I mean, we burn sage. But let's think about it. Let's be clear. You can't sage away your toxic relationship. You can't sage away or manifest your way out of a job that you hate without a plan, right? You can't journal your way through generational trauma without therapy. And in the spiritual industry, they've actually figured out how to sell you the idea that you can. And how to sell you avoidance disguised in healing, because that's kind of what we're doing if you think about it. They're making billions from it. You're just stuck in the same patterns, just with better aesthetics now. You're just following the crowd now. Now we can post about your journaling and we can post about your tarot cards. Personally, I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I respect everybody's opinion. Everybody has their own process. I didn't go to therapy. Maybe I should have. But I tried it, and I know that it didn't work for me. Because I needed authenticity, because it was just the same, and I know that I didn't need the same cookie cutter questions that everybody else had. Because I had more questions about what normal was than I did about my insecurities. And here's what's really what healing actually looks like, right? Like I said, I'm not trying to convince you of the idea or anything, but I just want you to ask yourself questions. I want you to think about it and to really discover what you really want. Because it doesn't matter what I tell you, it's what you want in life, what makes you happy and what fills you inside in your heart. Not what anybody else is telling you. The truth about healing is that it's uncomfortable conversations. It's going to be setting boundaries that piss people off and that make you look like if you were, I don't know, a horrible person for confronting your family. Or let's say confronting your family is not about writing letters and saying how so-and-so did so-and-so. No, it's about taking action even when it doesn't feel right, when you're scared as fuck. And you don't know if it's going to be an explosive reaction or if it's going to be a compassionate one or an understanding. Or if you're going to come to a mutual agreement. That scary feeling, that's when you know for a fact that this is going to be a changing experience, transitional, and you got to go for it because the adrenaline rush is exciting, right? But what it isn't is not $900 and something for somebody to tell you how to feel. It's not you having a certification from a retreat that you went to and did all the steps that they told you to do, but you still came out feeling the same. Or that you feel okay in certain aspects. Or maybe you feel like you're happy for a year. Maybe it works for a year. But then you can't hold it together anymore. And you explode louder or worse than you did before. I've always thought that when you have the power to help others, yeah, you should learn how to make something that can generate you money and that truly makes you happy inside, which is the teaching of Ikigai. But it's not you trying to find, hello Valerie, it's not you trying to find peace in a self-help manifestation journal. And I'm, like I said, I respect everybody's journey. Because if you actually have those tools and you use them properly, believe me, they do work. When they don't work is when you're using them to put them as a band-aid, but you're never cleaning the wound, right? Who's ready to admit that you've been spiritually bypassing? Who's been putting a patch and using cheap gorilla glue. I was saying to say Coca-Cola because that's what the glue in Spanish is called. And that's why I came. That's why I popped up on your FYP, if I did. That's why you kind of stopped for a little bit, even if it was for a second or two. Because you have questions, and I don't have answers, but I have other things that can make you analyze yourself and can make you see a different perspective, that can probably say, hello, Indy, that can make you think a little bit further or a little bit more outside the box. What's one of the things that people look for when they're hiring somebody? Creativity, right? If your routine, you too be safe. If your routine is the same every single day, how are you going to be prepared for other situations? That's why when something new comes up, we're terrified. Because we're always used to the comfortable that wasn't really ours to begin from. And here's where you're supposed to let your questioning come in. Let all those questions flow. You're supposed to ask them. That's why you have them. Let's see. What's the first question? How do I know if I'm following the crowd or if I'm following my own path? Ask yourself, if nobody could see the decisions, if nobody can see, or if they did see the pain, then nobody judged me. And I only had to live with one choice. Would I still make it? If I wasn't following the crowd? If I wasn't letting others decide for me? And here's the hard truth, honestly. When you change, people who benefited from you are going to put up a lot of resistance towards that change. Because they liked when you were predictable. They liked when they could control your decisions or influence your decisions. They liked you when you were beneath them, or when they can push you around. When it wasn't so hard to have to convince you or sell you the idea, right? Your growth threatens their comfort. And that's the truth. It's not that anybody's getting butthurt or that I hurt somebody's feelings. No, they're pissed off because you can no longer be used the way that you have been used all this time that you didn't know. But now you know, so they know that you know, and we both know. So why are you fooling yourself? Isn't following successful people a good thing? Following their principles? Yes. You can follow somebody's principles. Are you copying their exact path? You're not them, remember. And the circumstances are always going to be different. Your timing is going to be different. Their age, maybe they already had other past lives. Maybe they already had many things that you're still left to learn. That they're still left for you to learn. Learning from others is okay, but build your path from that knowledge. Build the path from the knowledge of the model behavior that you have around you. Don't try to follow their exact blueprint. Because and then where are you left? Where is your name at? Where do you come around when it comes to that? Following their principles? Definitely. But don't try to live their life. Because even though you both had, let's say, an abusive dad, a neglectful mom, you both make different decisions all day long. So it's impossible to try to follow an exact blueprint of somebody else's life. How do I start making my own decisions after following somebody else's my whole life? Think about it. Make one decision this week. Something super small. But something that you really want. Something that is like, this is the one thing that people can say, this is chill, this is Rocio right here. Not what others told you to follow. Just a habit that you wanted to start. Something that you've been really wanting to do, but you don't find the time, right, to get started. And it's always going to be next Monday. Maybe it's saying no to plans that you don't actually want to go through with. Or ordering what you want from the restaurant, not what your partner told you to order. Or wear something that you've been wanting to wear, but you've had to like dress a certain way because you don't want people to stare. Or speak up in a conversation instead of just staying quiet when you hear something that doesn't feel right in your gut. You're not going to get better at it if you don't practice, right? Why do you go to the gym and do 10 reps of this and 10 reps of that? Because you have to build muscle, right? And that's the same thing with our individuality, with our personalities, with our self-confidence. What if I'm making the wrong choice? That's always the biggest and the most scariest question of them all, right? The thing is that you're already making the wrong choice, so at least if you're making the wrong choice, you're not as pissed off as the consequences because it was your choice. So it's kind of like when you, personally, I used to have a thing about letting people borrow my car because if I didn't have a car that was as reliable, I knew for a fact that if they came back and it was not the same, I was going to be pissed. But if I did it, I thought it was hilarious. Why? Because it doesn't hurt as much when you're the one causing your own pain, right? But think about it. How can you make the wrong choice when you're already making the wrong choice but not choosing your choice? The crowd's mistakes are leaving you wondering, what if? They're making you wonder, what if you had a different life? What if you had gone to vacation to this place instead of this one? What if you had talked to the person that you saw that one time and you can't forget about? What if? It's horrible to live with that. To living a life in your dreams and missing out the one in front of you. Think about it. What if people think that personal work is expensive, right? What if I don't have money to go to therapy? I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Guess what? I don't even have a paycheck. Look into sliding scale therapists. I know that a lot of Medicaid right now or Access or anything covers your mental health. If you're somebody that doesn't want to talk about it, your AI, Claude, Gemini. Most phones come with Gemini. I think Roku comes with Gemini now. Perplexity right now, if you get it, if I'm not mistaken, you get a free, if you're a student, you get like a free year. All those AIs are developed to have a conversation with you, as if it was a person. That's what I did. Maybe And I like that because my questions and answers were not, the answers to my questions or my situation wasn't based on personal knowledge of the other person. Would you say so? Hey there, Red Sparrow. You mentioned that last time. Give me a minute, and then at the end we'll have questions and everything. No hope to grab the extended hand that would pull you up. Paralytic sadness. No hope to grab the extended hand that would pull you up if it could reach it. I'd rather have 2 people who tell me what's true than 200 telling me that I did okay when I'm horrible. Cancel subscriptions for guru courses, please. Stop buying those expensive retreats. Because healing shouldn't be expensive, right? It's something that you're already born with. I'm scared to be alone. That's like the biggest setback. What if I lose everyone? My family's going to be so mad at me. You might lose some people. That's no lie. But here's what you know. Or what I learned in my experience is that being surrounded by people who are pretending to be someone while you're not, or being surrounded by people while you're pretending to be someone while you're not, is very exhausting. And it's lonely. It's super lonely because you're over here in the crowd listening to them conversate. I never fit in. I was always the weird one. The one who would ask the weirdest questions, had the darkest humor. But it's lonely. It's lonely because you can't really express yourself. You can't really say what's on your mind because they're going to look at you weird. So you got to say what they want to hear, right? I'd rather have 2 people who know me really, really know me and tell me, Rocio, you're fucking up. Rocio, you're doing this. Than 200 who tell me that I'm doing good when I'm not, like I said. And when you start being authentic, you attract authentic people. There's a lot of us who have trust issues. I have major trust issues, but I don't worry about if this person's going to fail me or not because I'm being myself. And if it's something that they enjoy having around, then they're going to make sure that they take care of that, right? And if they don't, then tough luck, buttercup. I'm not going to sit around and try to make you see something that you obviously can't see in yourself, maybe. And what's the one thing, let's say for example, start right now. One thing that you've been afraid to do or a conversation that you've been avoiding. One boundary that you've been wanting to set, one decision that you've been putting off. I'm a big procrastinator. Think of one thing that you've been afraid to do. Just one. Commit to it for the next 48 hours, for the weekend. We have a lot of time. If you have a little meltdown, you got Sunday to recover. That's how I would think about it. Man, I'm going to start my chaos on Friday because if I get in a fight, I don't want to miss work on Monday. Or if I'm just not emotionally stable to go, then I don't have to to go to work, then I don't have to miss work. And stop thinking about, I'm going to start this, but then never take, honestly, I became tired of that. I became it was like a choking feeling. Sitting, writing down my journal, or my plans for the day, and then knowing that I had been writing the same plans for the last year. That's not healing. That's just me trying to make myself, or lying to myself that I'm doing something. So why do we lie to ourselves that the sage is going to get everything out when your mentality is still the same? Why do we lie to ourselves when we why do we lie ourselves when somebody betrays us once and then we think they're going to change? But in your gut feeling, you know for a fact this motherfucker's going to be the same. And you already see it coming. It's like you sniff it. Think about it. Just think about 5 major decisions that you've made in the last 5 years. Was it because you wanted to, and are you regretting those things right now? Are you still thinking about the choice that you should have done or the decision that you should have gone for because you knew in your gut feeling that that's the right one, but then you still went for this one because they sold you on the idea, right? It's like when you buy a car. You're not really convinced with the color, but they told you that it was a nice and appealing color. And then here you are a month later and you freaking hate having to give that first payment because you're tired of that color. Right? What's one thing that you're currently doing that's actually not working for you? That you're doing, but you know within you that it's like, man, this is just setting me back. I should be over here doing this. And you knew for a fact what decision you should have made or what thing you should be doing. But you wanted to please another person, so you did what the other person wanted you to do. What's something different that you wanted to do, or something different that you could do? That there's still time. Why do we always live like we're running out of time? Think about it. We chase a job that we're not really happy about because maybe that was what our parents told us to do and we're being super successful there. Maybe we're getting paid 6 figures a year. I don't know. So you feel guilty for leaving that job because everybody's well off, but every day that you wake up to go to work, you're miserable. Thank you, Charlie. Every day that you're driving to work, somebody cutting you off is just the end of the world, because you're already freaking pissed off that you're going to this job you hate. And then this motherfucker gets in front of you, right? Stop surrounding yourself with people who need you to stay in a certain level in order for you to be cool to hang around with, right? If you know for a fact that you need professional... Like, I'm not telling you how to think. I'm just trying to motivate you to believe in yourself. Which is something that all the courses and all the self-help books that you can read are going to tell you. That if you don't set your mind and focus on one thing... What do they say about multitaskers? There's one thing I heard. When you do a bunch of things at once, you don't do any of them right. And I was like, how dare you? I am the best multitasker. And then I went and I looked back into my situations that were very high pressure, and I'm like, fuck. So then I started doing it when I couldn't find my keys, when I needed to get going. Hello, El Clubs. When I needed to get going, and I'm like, everything and anything is happening to avoid me from getting out that door, right? So I would like sit back and I'm like, okay, take a deep breath. Let's recenter. What are we doing, Josie? What are we doing right now? Are we looking for keys, or are you just going to start thinking about how you can't find them? Because the more you think you can't find them, the more you're not going to see them. And then I would start laughing at myself. My wife probably thought I was crazy, but I'd be like, you're so dumb. Like, they're probably going to be in the silliest place. And sure enough, they were in the first spot I looked for. Your solution is not going to be another course, another $700, $900 on therapy that you don't even believe in. None of those things are going to work if you don't have the mindset, or if you're not preparing yourself to say, okay, if I'm going to invest this money, I'm going to make sure that I make it worth my while. Because I'm going to just simply show you my up there. You see all those books that are up there? You see that toolbox? Those books up there, I bought them from the book club because I wanted to read again. And then I forgot about the subscription, and then here I have another box of books in my closet that I'm probably never going to read. But I like how they look right there, I guess. Well, my goal is to eventually read them. But I was searching for everything externally that I have. I shouldn't be showing you my mess, but look at that right there. That down there is a sound system with some speakers and then a little box like the drum set, whatever nonsense. And then all those guitars right there, all those instruments, all those amps. I thought that was going to fill my world and it was going to make me happy, and I thought that I was going to be the best freaking producer in the world because I really wanted to make music. I even got this whole recording nonsense because I wasn't going to do this. I was going to make music. I was going to make my own music. I don't even know how to use the damn keyboard. I recently got one of those little beat like thingies. You see, I don't even know what they're called. And I haven't used it. I bought it a year ago, but I haven't used it because my mind isn't trying to heal. So it's like, I knew I shouldn't have bought it back then because I'm like, am I even going to use this? But then there I go. Why? Because my friend had one and I wanted one too. Most of my things are because somebody else had them. Think about it. You're not broken, okay? You're not behind. You're not failing at anything. You're just not living somebody else's life. And that's why you're wondering why it doesn't feel right. Your solution is not to take another course. Your solution is not to go on another retreat. It's not to buy another crystal. It's not to get another influencer's advice, generic advice, because most of it is algorithm. We think that because it applies to certain things, we forget that there's areas it doesn't apply, or we don't even hear the areas that don't apply. It will make sense once you have that confidence within you, but you're trying to find that confidence externally. The solution you're making, or you're looking for, is you. Making your own choices, living your own life. Even if it's an unorganized life like mine, a messy life, I know where to find all my shit though. Even if it's scary, even if it's freaking controversial. Maybe you like weird things. Maybe you have a weird fetish. I don't know. But live it. Go freaking live it. Because the crowd will always be there if you want to go back. It feels amazing whenever somebody sees you and says, damn, like, think about it. You're attracted to what's not the same, right? We're all attracted to things that are not typical of what we see. Thank you, Grateful Bird. I'm grateful for you. The crowd is always going to be there. We're always looking for the authenticity elsewhere. But we don't ever try to be authentic. We want to be lookalikes of our models instead of just following their behaviors more than trying to live the blueprint of their life. Choose yourself. Always choose yourself. Because people are in different stages. And I did that for a long time with my coworkers. You know what I did? I racked up debt like a dumbass. Why? Because everybody around me was getting nice, shiny little cars. Everybody around me had money to spend. Everybody around me had the time, right? The time to take off. Right? I really didn't because I had just started. I really didn't have the money to spend. Hey, Cupcake. Hey, Cupcake. That totally rhymed. Lately, I've been rhyming a lot. I don't know why. I think I'm going to be a rapper one day. Okay. If it's bound to be, then let it be. How user... That's how I see when I see a bunch of numbers. Think about the choices and the things that you follow, the beliefs. Why is everybody so divided? Is it because we're following? I feel like everybody has been fighting for so long that we forgot what the main point of the argument was. Does that ever happen to you where you're like, what the fuck am I even fighting about? If we all looked within, if we all made our own individual choices, I bet you we wouldn't be so fucked up as a whole. And not just as the United States, I mean as a whole. Because pain is everywhere. What are you fighting for? I'm curious. And there's no right or wrong answer, like I'm honestly curious. Yesterday I actually made a very interesting question. I might have to bring it up today. You think if you're What is it that you were fighting for? To keep going in the face of opposition. Exactly. And I'm proud of you for that. You know your beliefs, you know your moral. Yesterday I was touching I want to share this with you because I don't know if this is something that you question yourself, but this is something that I've been questioning myself for a long time. And like I said, I'm not judging everybody. I respect everybody's beliefs. Had you told me the opposite, I would have still supported you because it's boring that everybody's the same. I don't find that cool. But yesterday I was talking about very touchy subjects, about how sometimes we tend to overlook the bad because we want to have we want to make excuses for continuing to follow the crowd, right? And one of the things that I had asked, let me see here, is pretty much how everything is going on with the Epstein files and all that nonsense that we see going on all around the world, right? It's like a very icky subject for some people that some people don't even want to bring it up anymore because it's so bad. But I think that's the main thing, that we avoid it so it doesn't get solved. No, exactly. No, I totally agree with you. That's what my question is leading to. This is why I'm so excited for this. Humanity, if you think about it, we're watching injustice happen, right? So we watch injustice happen and we don't say anything because everyone else didn't say anything. We participate in cruelty because that's just how things are, right? We point fingers at what's different because if it's not like us, it's not cool or it's not safe. Like right now we have like all these names, we have all these pictures, we have evidence. And what do? We talked about it for a few days. And now that everything is coming out more and more, like in the areas that I saw it very, like a lot of it is slowly fading away. And it's the same thing with the pro-life and all that nonsense, right? What I've always asked myself is if it's because we don't actually think for ourselves, is it because we go for the crowd? Is it because because that's what we truly believe in? Is it because we're told to believe that? Or is it because we're angry about something that everybody told us to be angry about it and we stay silent just to avoid being like all eyes on me? What do you think about that? Like, do we go with the crowd or do we do and follow this? And my question for this is because both sides, in my opinion, if somebody dies, doesn't matter. It's like kind of like it's all fun and games until somebody gets hurt. Like there is no excuse for that, right? I don't care what opinion you have. I think that you shouldn't have the power to hold somebody else's. Okay, so is it that we stay, so if we know this, okay, and that's something that you said right now that's super important, okay? I'm going to touch another subject that's a little bit, we have, okay, so, how can I explain it? And what you said right now, that would be, dun dun dun. Let me just, it's because I have to make notes. I am so sorry, but I have to make notes because I have ADHD and honestly, like, I can be talking about 3 things at once. Okay, so these are the questions that I asked yesterday, and I'm glad that you're here today because I want to know what you think. Our leaders should care for the least vulnerable. Exactly, I believe like you do. Okay, so and these are the questions that I ask myself when I see all that negativity all around me. Why do we get mad at the wrong things? Why do we follow the crowd when things are wrong? Like the questions that I personally wrestle with is that, like, what, how can I explain it? Let's I have to use an example. Let's use let's do Epstein files. All the stuff that's going on right now. We have names, we have evidence, There's a bunch of powerful people from both sides that are connected to it, super hardcore. And there's some crazy things that people thought only was like a joke from movies. But it's literally a prediction of our lives or our society. And all these children, right, that are hurt. And like I said, I saw everybody talk about it. But here we are just angry at our phones. There's some people out there that are angry at all the stuff going on with immigrants and whatnot. Why do we always just go back to how things are? Like, we get angry whenever we find out what people are doing in their personal lives. When everybody else is angry, but then we just go back to how things were. Why can't we sustain outrage about something, about certain things, but not others? Yeah. And that's why, because I feel that heartbroken that you said that you feel. Because it's like, what part of humanity or moral are we missing here? Is it because we feel powerless because people with money and influence get away with it? Or is it because it's easier to be mad at somebody who could actually reach those things? Or is it because we're already overwhelmed with everything around us that we just shut down? Do we ever ask ourselves, like, what are we actually angry about? Is it my anger aimed at the things that are causing harm? Or is it just the things that are changing that I'm uncomfortable with? Because I can't understand when people are still devoted to somebody that would do that to a child. I don't care what side. I don't care about sides, to be honest. If you're a good person, you got my support. But if you're a good person outside of the camera, saying someone's rich, we can't do anything because they have money. You're right, maybe it's true. Maybe they have the means. But is that a reason why we stay quiet? Why we have to just accept it, take it like it is? And this is a genuine question. I'm not saying that your answers are wrong or right. But I legit want to know why we do this. Why do we continue to just be extremely angry and just sit back? That's what I've always questioned myself with. Like, when you see somebody saying, like, we just move on from the Epstein files. Everybody's scared, right? I see a bunch of people, for example, when they're passionate, and that's why I'm doing this, because I'm not scared. I've always loved to tell people, like, how it is, because I hate liars. I fucking cannot stand it, because I can tell when you're bullshitting. And the fact that you had the audacity to lie to my face is a slap in the face. It's disrespectful, because I treat you with respect, and I would expect the same. Let's talk about pro-life. That's a touchy subject too, right? People love their comfort as long as they're comfortable, they will... Exactly. And that's why I always say, you can do all these self-help books, but if you truly don't sit with your mistakes and acknowledge your mistakes and say, hey, I did wrong, you're not going to really understand how somebody else or what somebody else is going through. There's a bunch of people who are passionate about pro-life, right? And I respect that. I don't have kids of my own. I have stepchildren. My sister at one point had... So what do we do? Send me. I'm going to explain that to you. I mean, what we do is whenever you work, whenever you sit with the dark times, the worst times, all your shame, all your pain, you start to understand why, and you stop being angry. Because the questions that you have, you start to have answers for them. And you realize that you're carrying guilt that is not yours. That the way that your parents treated you was only what they knew. And that maybe for them it was a way to show you love. How do you feel when your son is doing something, or your kid or your nephew is doing something that you know is going to get him hurt, and you said no, and they continue to do it? And then it frustrates you, right? But you know you're doing it from a good place. But they weren't taught how to define their emotions. Many of our parents had to grow up extremely quick. My mom didn't have any younger kids or siblings. She had to raise all the other 10 with my grandma. Nobody taught us how to handle our emotions. So now all we have are all these adults, all these children in adult costumes having tantrums in public. Because if you truly sit with your pain, you wouldn't want another person to go through it. And you would do anything and everything possible to avoid that. But anyways, I see people who are passionate about being pro-life, and I respect that. And if you believe that life begins at conception, then that's your truth, that's your religion, that's your belief, that's your personal identity. And I can't change that, and I'm not here to change that. You're entitled to it just like I'm entitled to say what I'm thinking right now. I'm not forcing you to listen, I'm not forcing you to change your mind, I'm just giving you a different perspective, a new perspective. Or maybe a perspective that everybody else has, but is too afraid to speak up on. Because I'm tired of it, guys. I'm tired of it. And if people want to see this as a personal relief or whatever, I don't care. But I'm going to say how it is. And if something bad happens to me, then so be it. That's how it was supposed to happen. But my purpose here in life was to suffer so that I can be that support that I needed at one point. But there's a bunch of us that just stay comfortable in that pain or in that rejection. And we live the same cycle all over again. So these people who are pro-lifers, why aren't they fostering? Why are we worried so much about the kids that are not here instead of protecting the ones that are already here? That's what has always blown my mind. Everybody watched the Gabriel something's documentary, right? There's more people scared of their kids going in the system because they know that abuse. They know the RAP, or they lived it themselves. And I'm like mind blown by the fact that these kids are in the system because they're supposed to be cared for. It's an environment of somebody that wants to care for them. But then they're used as mules pretty much because you get paid by the government, right? So what kind of care or what kind of precautions are they taking in order to ensuring the safety of the kids that are already here? Because let me tell you, my next question is going to be a little controversial too. Think about it. There's over 400,000 kids in foster care right now. They're kids who need a home, kids who need love and care. And I'm not saying that everybody that's pro-life should have or should foster kids. Don't get me wrong. A kid is a huge commitment. For the longest time, I wanted a kid of my own. I thought that if I had my own, I didn't care if I had a dad with me or a wife with me. Why? Because it was going to be me and my kid, and that kid was going to love me unconditionally. But now that I have kids, I realize that maybe I didn't have them because I don't have the patience to be with the kid 24/7. I have a great deal right now, every other week, so I get my little time off. So I wonder, if we put that same energy that we do and debating whether or not somebody should live in this miserable world, or if somebody should have the right to their body, as we did, if we put the same energy that we put into those people, into the system that's already failing the kids that are already here, what would change? What is going to change if we switch our focus and say, you know what, guys, we gotta fucking change the fostering system. Because these kids are going into these homes, these people that are freaking predators. But wasn't there something in the files that said, oh, keep having kids every so often? It makes me wonder, are they so set on keeping abortion illegal so they can have a consistent flow of, and this is going to sound horrible, but of cattle? A consistent flow of supply? That's what it sounds to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm trying to see too far. I don't know. And the uncomfortable question is, if a child is going to be born into abuse, into a broken system, because we don't know what the person that's pregnant is going through. Why? Because that person didn't come and ask you for permission to go have sex and have a kid, right? That person is not asking you to buy diapers for them, right? Oh, and that's another thing. The pro-lifers are still concerned with all the help that there is from the government funding these families who cannot afford to have all these kids. So what? Is sex going to be a privilege as well? Because condoms are not free. Many people don't know where to go to because all these resources are not as out there. Just because you know doesn't mean that somebody else knows. So think about it. If a child is going to be broken into abuse, or born into abuse, brought into a world, let's say this kid was born from rape. And yes, it's so easy to say, you can leave them at the whatever place. Okay. But you don't know what they're going to end up as. So you're still going to live with that child in mind your whole life after that. You're never going to be the same. Is forcing that birth the compassionate choice? Or is it preventing the suffering of that child? The compassionate choice. And how does it affect you personally? Because I really want to know. I want to know why we decide these laws the way that they are, very in your business all the way up to your crack, you know? I don't know the answer, and I'm intrigued to know what people think. I think that we should be asking ourselves these random ass questions all the time. Questions are good. Questions are good when you can feel it in your gut that something is a little not right here. The math isn't mathin', guys. When questions are not okay is when it makes you doubt what you already know. Those are invasive questions. Because if I said something, why are you asking me a million questions? I don't have to over-explain myself in order for somebody to believe me. Right? How is it that we follow a person that says that has to get rid of the criminals, and we're like, yeah, let's fucking get rid of the criminals. But he's a criminal too. So do we also go get him? I don't know. I'm wondering, and I want to know what I need to do, guys, because everything is just so out of control. That's where, that's where I think it's like selective hearing, you know? It's selective blindness. We turn the blind eye to the things that are not okay because we don't want people to think that we're like that. But you know what? It makes me think that you are. Because you look for someone or you follow someone because you want to embody them, right? That's what you're being taught, to always look for acceptance externally. But what about that when that person shows their true colors? Are you disappointed at the fact that you knew for a fact that everything else was wrong, but you followed because it was to your own personal advantage to follow? Or are you disappointed in the person because you had good, high hopes? And why do we choose not to see certain things? Why do we choose to continue to follow when we know it's wrong? It's kind of like, you know, when you participate. I watch a lot of documentaries about murder. But when you participate in those, the person, even if simply for being in the same room, even if you didn't touch the knife, you're charged the same as the person that unalived the person, right? Because you were there and you could have prevented it, but you didn't do anything. It doesn't matter if your reaction was to freeze because you were in shock. Because why? The moral thing to do was to intervene, right? Shouldn't it be the same? Or what's that one saying, like, in Spanish? Dime con quién te juntas y te diré quién eres. Tell me who you hang out with and I'll tell you what type of person you are. And that's kind of what we're doing with ourselves. When we're following all these people, we're giving all these people the power to decide about your life. When you know it's wrong. When you think about that Mexican friend that you had that helped you out when you didn't have shit. But you're still following the people that are persecuting your neighbor. It's not about money. It's not about taxes. Or tariffs. Or jobs. It's about keeping you in the idea that they do the thinking for you, because it's all around us. Like, the answers are all around us. You just have to pay attention, guys. Please. It's keeping us in the idea that we have to continue to look externally. Oh, look at that. Siri's all listening to my conversation because she's like, oh, I gotta go watch. Make sure she's not saying something she shouldn't. If we're all united, we are always wondering that this is the coming of Jesus, right? But Jesus lives inside of us, you know? So when you pray to God, you're praying to a part of you, or of Him that lives inside of you. Maybe the confidence that you have and the faith that you have, you should direct it to you. Because the person you're seeking approval for didn't come and do the work for you. They didn't come and walk your path. They didn't come and take your test. They didn't come and cry for you when your mom said the mean things she said. You did. You sat alone. Just you and that little voice in your head that was like, why does this always happen to me? Well, then stop making the same choices. There's no other answer but that. Stop choosing people that make you feel like you have to make them happy all the time. Start to recognize that maybe that stomach pain is not a fart. That it's your intuition telling you, get the fuck out of here. It sounds rude. It sounds whatever you want, baby girl. I don't care. But if you're here, it's because you need to hear it. Stop acting like everybody else wants you to act and start choosing for yourself. You're a grown-ass adult. Stop pretending like you have control of your life because you have the car you want. You ain't going home. And by home, I mean you ain't going to your true form, to your true conscious with that fucking car. You're not. You're not going home with the fancy outfits either. All of that shit it's just the shiny object to keep you distracted. We all know. It's so easy to believe in CERN or in all other stuff, which is, they're definitely true, they definitely exist. But if you have that same confidence and that same, like, passion towards yourself, imagine how fucking awesome that would be. What's up, Jay? Why do we follow the fucking crowd? Hey, I have an interesting question. I hope you're having a great day today. First of all, thank you for being here. I have a question for you, and I want you to answer me, and there is no right or wrong answer, but I was talking about pretty good, just here, talking about the uncomfortable things that people don't want to talk about because it has to be said, and I said it, and I don't care. My mom said that we had to stay quiet because if we say something, we're gonna make the company we're gonna make everybody feel uncomfortable, but you know what, guys? I'm not my mom, so go fuck yourself. Nah, I'm kidding. If a child is going to be born into abuse, into a broken system, and into suffering, is forcing that birth the compassionate choice, or is it preventing that suffering the compassionate choice? Think about it. I don't see the pro-lifers fixing damn system. And I honestly think about this one because of the fucking Epstein files. We're over here, oh, I have a kid and I remember. Yeah, your kids are safe. You have the means to fucking support your kids. Not everybody lives your life, buddy. You don't know the plans of other people, and who the fuck are you to tell them how to live their life if you don't like people telling them how to live yours? Are you mad at the fact that the world is changing too fast for you? Maybe stay at home a little bit. Gather yourself. Take it all in. Exactly. At the end of the day, we all want and search for the same shit. We all want to be happy, to be stable. Exactly. If you believe in one thing, why do you freaking shape or make excuses of that one thing so that it fits with the person that you're following? Or it makes an excuse? Or why do we oversee certain things? Do we feel powerless? Or is it because it's easier to be mad from a distance? And how does my gayness, or what does my gayness take from you? How does what I ate last night affect you in any way? Pun intended. Exactly, and your brother's right. We all touch the freaking same money at the end of the day. Exactly. I've always, ever since I've been little, I was like, I would have a hard time when my mom would say no, and she was just sleeping at home, but she wouldn't let me do something. So I'd be like, okay, if you're going to say no, then we're going to spend some time together, because I'm trying to do something today. Right? Give me a reason as to why you said no. Is it because every parent said that you had to say no at some point? Or is it because you feel in your heart, you know what, no, Rocio, I don't want you to go, because if you do go, I have a crazy feeling that something bad's going to happen. I would understand it a lot more, and I probably wouldn't be bothering her with 100 questions, or with the same question 100 times until she said yes. She could have saved herself that time and just spent 5 seconds explaining to me. So why do we see all the shit that is wrong? We hear it from, like, ay, güey, no mames, güey, neta que me puta esa madre. Exactly, mind your business. Mind your business, guys. If it's not taking from your plate, don't worry about it. Go do your soul work, and all the things that you're telling that person to go do them first. And then come back and see if you have the same opinion. That just really grinds my gears. It grinds my gears when people want to fucking tell me what to do or how to feel. Imagine if it's like in my personal life that I hate it. Imagine like, oh, I want to do this, and then you can't. Because the world decided that you cannot. I had a real problem with people telling me what to do with my body. Because if you ain't going to be buying me shit, if you ain't going to be buying me calzones, if you ain't wiping my ass, then mind your damn business. How about we stop giving needles to those people that have crazy habits because we want them to practice safe addictions? Yeah. And we're okay with funding that shit. But abortion is bad. Is it bad, or are we just ending their supply of cattle for their sick fucking games? Go fucking fix the system. Worry about the ones that are already here. Why don't they deserve a chance? And you know, that's another thing. Exactly. The people that already are born with everything. What was that one? The main story of Buddhism. Thank you. The main thing, the concept of Buddhism was that he had everything. He didn't have any challenges in life. And he left it all to go and experience poverty, hunger, because he needed to feel like everything he had has value. All those material things don't have value if you don't know what it is to not have them, if you don't appreciate them. It's like when a kid, when you buy them a brand new fucking toy, you know it was fucking $600, but here they are wiping their ass with it, and they broke it the first day. Or when you see people breaking TVs, shit, I have the same like TV from like 10 years ago. What difference does it make? Or how does it benefit the neighbor that you got the same model or the more expensive one? The only one that's going to be lacking, buddy, is you. Driving the nicest car when you can't even pay the fucking insurance alone, because the newer the car, the higher the insurance. A sports car, even more. And guess what? If you're driving a red car, your insurance is going to be higher than most people. Why? Because red cars are more likely to be pulled over. If it doesn't take from your plate, don't fucking worry about it. Make sure that everybody is getting the same freedom that you are. Because just like you value it, other people too. Shit, we have people that have money for too many lifetimes. But then we have a bunch of hunger all around us. The same people that want you to keep your kids are the same people that want to defund the government or the states to be able to help you raise these damn kids. And like I said, I'm not saying kids are bad, but there are fucking commitment. And not everybody is able to make that commitment. Are they going to regulate sex next? Are we going to have to punch in? Exactly, it's a whole life commitment, whether you have them with you in your life or not, because you're still going to have guilt. If you decide that that kid does not make it, if you decide that you give that kid away, imagine, I would rather just not have the kid, because I wouldn't live with myself knowing all the shit that's going on around me and that my kid could be one of those. Fuck that shit. Or I would find somebody that I knew personally and that I had many conversations with before to take care of my kid. But then these people, they're like, oh no, you gotta have your kid. And guess what, guys? There's no housing for you. There's no foodies. Oh, and then we're also going to keep the job situation the same, and healthcare is hella fucking expensive. But you know what, guys? You'll be a happy family because you'll have everybody with you. If you're drowning, we all drown. Fucking crazy, man. Make me sad. And you know what, guys? We don't have to stay quiet. There's nothing we can do. I fucking hate that. The I can't. If I overcame my fear of being here and telling you shit that maybe people find, that many people who want to be liked don't say because they want to be accepted so bad. Well, no, I'm not that person. I don't give a fuck if you accept me or not. But I'm going to tell you when you fuck up. I'm going to tell you when we are fucking up as humanity, as humans. Because we're so drawn into the fucking money, into the material shit. Exactly. Jesus is not going to come, guys. Stop thinking about that, mijo. No va a venir el Chuy. El Chuyito no va a venir, mijo. He ain't coming today. He's like, fuck that shit, man. I'm out of that party. They got hella crazy up in that bitch. Jesus comes whenever we all get together and we start supporting each other. Regardless of what you're wearing, regardless of the fucking brand of your shoes, your underwear, regardless if you showered or not. Hopefully you did, because nobody likes stinky people. That's a given. At least wear some deodorant or something. You get some wipies. The coming of Jesus is when we as humans start to show up for each other. That is the coming of Jesus. When his vision of what humanity was supposed to be comes to life. That is the coming of Jesus. La neta way. And that's why you're listening, buddy. Because you're part of the whole fucking party. You're VIP listing. You have that third eye that other people don't have and continue to be fed bullshit. You're like, what the fuck? This is dog shit. This is not, I don't know, this is not brownies. This is fucking turd. Get that shit away from my face. Exactly, we fucking drown and we fucking embrace being the victims. Let's put it that way. We enjoy that. We thrive out of that pain. It's like it fuels us, right? The more misery, the more I enjoy it. No, I'm fucking tired of that shit. One thing is to have your little vices that make you relax. My ancestors were farmers, now I live in suburban hell. And you know that's crazy because usually people, like I was talking about Scorcher. I was talking about the Buddhism religion, how Siddhartha, I think is his name, he left all that rich life in order to be able to experience the pain and the suffering of the world, right? And many people who are born with money. Have you guys noticed that a person who doesn't have, or a person who is begging in the street, is more willing to share what they don't have than the people who actually have abundance of it? You want to know why? Because when you lack it, you know how it feels to not have it. You have compassion. And when it's handed to you, you have no challenge in life. Nothing is challenging. Everything else is external approval. When they work on more getting it ways. Exactly. The more you get, more money, more problems, right? But then you create those fucking problems. Because your life is still the same, but you chose to take certain actions because you wanted more. Because what you had was not enough. God rewards people not give shit for no reason. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about when things flow. Because you're doing things for yourself that heal you and they're not hurting others. You're not taking from others. That's when you become one of the people that gets annoyed when somebody puts boundaries because you can no longer take. And you need to understand that people are just children. Children dressed as adults. Children who need to be hugged. Children who need to cry. Children who need to laugh. Children who need to play with toys. Children that need to be held for a little bit. And that you're the only person that can give them that. That you should always see everybody as your inner child. Because you're so angry at everybody else because your inner child suffered so much. And you're giving that same fucking pain to everybody else who wasn't even there. They didn't even know you existed. I was thinking the other day, I was driving and I was like, I'm pretty sure when I say that I don't get angry, people think I'm like shitting or bullshitting or that I'm trying to, I don't know, that I'm feeding you shit. And I was trying to think like, well, why would I get angry? Even when I would about to be getting angry, when I was about to get angry, I'd be like, but how does this, like, what does it even do for me? Am I angry because I'm frustrated at the time? Or is it the tone? Or is it like something that somebody else did that has nothing to do with this person? I was like, you know what? I don't have energy for this shit. Or over-explaining. I'm living in 2020. Exactly. You know what? You need to go with your gut instinct. Because if you feel like that, if you feel like you're just done with everything, that's you waking up from this fucking prison that we're in. Whoever told you that reincarnation is a blessing lied to you. That was a choice. We chose this fucking misery because we came to fix it. And if we're following the crowd, it's never going to get fixed. Right now is essential. We're about to, if we already aren't, in World War III. I am from Sonora. Yes, I am. I'm Mexican, not a Mexicant. Not up in here. I'm a Mexican, not a Mexicant. I hate the word can't. Yes, I'm a northern Mexican. So I live close to the border. I'm in the border of Arizona, where we have so many Mexicans, and let me tell you, us, like I have seen the most racism with my people against my people. Especially here in Arizona, that we're like at the border. Like we literally depend on the workers that cross every single morning at 2 a.m. to go to work at 5. In New Jersey, oh, that's so awesome. I've always wanted to go to that side of like I've only been to California. Yosemite's probably the furthest I've ever been. But I can count with one hand. I've only been to Phoenix and Strawberry, Arizona, because I got scared because people, I have the triple, I'm a triple threat. I'm Mexican, gay, and I'm Mexican, gay. I guess it's a double threat. But yes, it is insane here. I mean, we have... It's crazy because the same people that say that we need to be out of here and all these other nonsense are the same people at the taco stands with the compa right here, talking about them tacos and the tortillas and the horchata. They're like fans. They don't know how fucking shitty them tacos are going to be when we're gone. I think everybody needs to watch the movie A Day Without a Mexican. You guys remember that? And if you haven't, y'all should watch A Day Without a Mexican because that predicted what's happening right now. So is it warmer year round? You know we only have 2 seasons. Actually, it hasn't. Everybody says that it's been really hot, but it's not. I mean, I guess you get used to it. 117, I think, is the hottest it gets here. But it's not humid, so you don't feel it as bad. It's like a dry heat that you're cool if you're inside or... I mean, I think it's stupid that we have an outside mall, but I guess. And then you can go to the river to go swim in everybody else's pee. But no, and everything's like close by. If you live in Phoenix, that's super cool. As in like things to do, but it is a little bit harder over there. Right now, it's actually cool. It's like a very nice day. It's actually, so you live like women. I identify as a female, yes, but I don't feel comfortable wearing female clothes because I feel like it makes me itch, and then bras make me too compressed, like they suffocate me. So I'm a bit girly, but I look like a little boy, so I guess I look like a gay little boy. It's 69 degrees, my favorite. You never dated? I did. I have. I don't have opinions about certain things unless I've tried them. Because, and then I'd be a liar. But I did that because my mom was so disappointed because I was gay and she thought that I needed to keep it to myself because she didn't want people to be mean to me. But then later on I realized that I was just suppressing my identity to make others comfortable. And I wasn't cool with that. And then eventually it kind of made me feel like shit because my uncle came out being gay. And then she was all cool with him, but that was a shame. Such a shame. I'm the ugly duckling. I'm the middle child. We're the ones that keep it going. We handle everything. We're the caretakers of the house. We handle everybody's emotions and want to make sure everybody's okay, even though nobody worries about us. I was actually seeing a lot of I guess I'm the typical person that tried too hard to fit in, to be honest, because of my abandonment issues. But I learned later on that any adversity I had was just kind of like a training day for me. It allowed me to analyze my emotions, analyze that most of the things that people didn't like about me were not things that I thought for myself and were not habits that I had learned on my own. So with every disappointment came a lesson. And instead of asking myself why, I was like, you know what, I'm tired of feeling like that. No, I'm married. I'm happily married. I've always thought, and this is not to offend you in any way, but every single time that I look more like a little boy, guys usually tend to hit on me, which makes me wonder if they have like some sort of fetish towards little boys. Because when I had longer hair, like nobody would talk to me, but then with like short hair, especially when I have like a buzz cut or something, like guys are being all creepy, and it's like I'm over here minding my business, and it just makes me question the person a lot. Like I said, it's not necessarily towards you, but it's something that I was actually talking about recently with my wife. But anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned. I'm gonna be posting. If you guys have any ideas that you want to talk about, or any topic that you want to discuss and want to get a little bit into, or even if you want to join androgynous locus hot, I don't know what that word is. Can you explain or elaborate? Let me look it up. See, we shouldn't be scared to say when we don't know something, instead of me just agreeing blindlessly, and then what if it was something bad? Partly male and female. Oh yes, I think I embraced my my femininity this last year throughout my whole work. That before I was very I'm gonna do it because I want to get dirty type, and now I'm very like, why are guys here? That's what I can. As lesbians, just go hire a guy because that's all we need him for, to fix shit around the house. Because I'm not gonna get hurt doing those things. I'm not gonna get hurt. I'm a princess lesbian. But if you have to label it, it would be like my wife is more female than I am. But I guess now I don't like to look like either. Because, I mean, I know I can pull both off. I was very self-conscious with dresses. I used to think that I looked like a tranny. But then I was like, no, I don't. I just don't need to wear a lot of makeup, I guess. And that's not being cocky. It's just confidence. You have to have confidence, because you don't accomplish your shit if you don't have confidence, right? Thank you so much, Scorcher, for joining me today and chit-chatting. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll post the event a couple hours before. So, thank you. If you guys want to discuss anything, or if you want to get anything off your chest, or if you just want to vent, send me a message. And I can't assure you that I will answer right then and that second, but when I do, I'm going to give you my undivided attention. So have a good night or a great day, guys. It's Friday. If you guys go out, make sure that you have DD. Not to go get dig. I meant like make sure you have a designated driver, okay, guys? So be safe, take a shower, get ready for the weekend.